I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you all for being here this evening, and hopefully your holiday season has been joyous so far. Before I go any further, I know we have one member of the Royal Palm Beach High School who is also a member of our Youth Civics Leadership Program here this evening. I want to thank him for showing up, and I believe he's already signed in. Just want to remind anybody who might be online as well to make sure that we know there are a member of that program so that they get credit for attending the council meeting. Thank you all for being here. So let's move on with the agenda, which is the roll call. Madam Clerk, would you please show that all members of the council are present?
Yes, Mayor, I will.
And then the next item on the agenda is a proclamation. It is the proclamation that regarding the upcoming election. And I will just read that proclamation. As provided in Section 8-1 of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Royal Palm Beach, Florida, I hereby proclaim that on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, the Village of Royal Palm Beach will hold its municipal election. Groups 1, 3, and mayor will be elected for a term of 2 years each. The election will be held on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at various locations in the Village of Royal Palm Beach, Florida, namely the Village Royal Palm Beach Cypress Hall, the Village of Royal Palm Beach Cultural Center, the Village of Royal Palm Beach Recreation Center, Royal Palm Beach Community High School, Royal Palm Beach Branch Library, H.L. Johnson Elementary School, Village of Royal Palm Beach Commons Park, South Florida Fairgrounds, and Calypso Bay Water Park. Proclaimed this the 18th day of December 2025. I will sign that, make it official, and that will allow us then to move on to the next order of business, which is reports. Let's begin to my left with Councilwoman Rodusky.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. During our last meeting, I was not present because I was in Salt Lake City at the National League of Cities Summit. And themes were very similar to themes that we have been discussing locally and at the state level: transportation, affordable housing, taxes. And of course, I was also interested in the arts and community engagement conversations. One event I was particularly interested in is called America's Potluck, to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. And across the country, states and cities will be supporting their communities to share meals in their parks, clubhouse, community centers, and host potluck event all on July 5th, the day after the 4th of July. I want to bring it up now because I know that strategic planning is not until for several months. And I would like to know if council and staff would like to help me promote this and work through a timeline of tasks to accomplish before July 5th. So A, how do you feel about it? And B, should we entertain a conversation about taking this on? Obviously, no decisions need to be made tonight, but if there's some consensus, I will go back and get a timeline of tasks and events and analyze what kinds of things we can do, and look at budgets if there's a cost involved. Maybe it's just promotion, and really communicating with all of our neighborhoods. And so I'd really like to hear what you all think.
Okay. Comments? I'll start with the Vice Mayor.
I definitely would like to have a discussion about it. I just looked at the calendar, and unless I'm reading it wrong, the 5th is a weekend day as well. It looks like both are Saturday and Sunday, so that would be, very helpful for, attendance and being able to, not have people miss because of work. But yes, definitely something I think I'd like to discuss and entertain. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I would also be in support of that. Would love to see what happens. Mhm.
Okay. Councilwoman Charles?
Mr. Mayor, I definitely support that.
Sounds like you got it.
Well, I
We're
will,
all in.
thank you, everyone. I will come back and get as much information as I can about what other cities they're doing in this regard, and I will bring it to you all.
Sounds like a
So
great idea.
in addition to thinking about this event for the summer, one of the things I was also talking to Ray about is the way we do strategic planning. And currently, we all talk to our facilitator prior to a meeting, and then individually, right? And then we come together and we get all our ideas in one package in one day without a whole lot of time to consider what's being asked. So I would like to suggest that once we have those conversations with our facilitator, if we could get a summary of those ideas a week in advance, that way we feel like we have some thought around each idea and able to fairly consider them.
No, think that's a good idea? Anybody have any
think-
comments? Or?
And the way I'm envisioning this is we do our stuff on what I think we're on Wednesday and then again on Friday. So get the stuff on, I guess, after Wednesday, but before Friday so we can review it. Is that what we're talking about, Jan?
the
Or
initial input.
doing it at a later time?
The initial input.
Oh, the initial input way early. Okay.
Yeah, so as we're right after we talk to Lyle, he compiles all those ideas. And then he brings
Get 'em-
them. So after
him
he
that.
compiles and gives them to us a week prior to even
Okay.
a strategic
Yeah,
planning session.
that sounds like a good idea to me. That's it.
Okay.
Manager, what do you think?
I think it's a good idea, and I'm sure Lyle will accommodate that, and we might need to have your conversations a little earlier with Lyle, so he can get that in a format that he can get it to everybody, because I think you do want it in your hands at least 7 days in advance. And then you can see the topics you're about to talk about and ask me or him questions before we sit down on the Wednesday.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Anything else?
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Councilman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. December was a busy month. I'm just going to share what I attended. On December 4th, I attended the Royal Palm Beach High School holiday performance with Mrs. Hamara in the back there. The students did an outstanding job, and the evening was a credit to Principal Robinson and the entire staff. On December 5th, I attended the Young at Heart Holiday Luncheon. The music was wonderful, and it was a pleasure meeting so many of our senior residents who were clearly enjoying the event. Later that evening, I joined the mayor and Mrs. Samara at Royal Palm Beach Elementary's Winterfest. The event was packed, well organized, and featured great student performances. Kudos to Principal Getty and her staff for a terrific evening then. On December 6th, I attended Winterfest at Commons Park. This was another outstanding event by our staff. I want to recognize our village manager, Parks and Rec staff, the sheriff's office, our firefighter paramedics, vendors, performers, and all those who made it possible. I also want to thank this council for continuing to fund the event so it remains free and accessible for all residents. And the highlight of the evening, of course, was Santa and the lighting and the tree lighting. On December 9th, I attended the H.L. Johnson Holiday Show at Commons Park, along with Mayor Hamara, Mrs. Hamara, and Vice Mayor Valentis. The strong family support was impossible to miss, with parents and relatives filling the venue. Principal Amato and her staff organized a wonderful event, and the students were joyful, energetic, and impressive. On December 10th, I joined the mayor and Mrs. Hamara at Royal Palm Beach Elementary's holiday show for their students in their ASD unit. It was truly a special evening. I was impressed by the care, planning, and dedication shown by the staff to ensure every single student could participate and enjoy the experience. Principal Getty and her team continue to do exceptional work. On December 12th, I attended the Young at Heart Ugly Sweater Contest. Like many such contests, most sweaters were more cute than ugly. But organizer Shakira Thomas and the judges managed to identify 3 truly atrocious winners. Everyone had a great time, and I was even pulled into the conga line, and I don't know how that happened. In speaking with Ms. Thomas, I learned that many participants take part in line dancing and fitness activities ahead of these events to improve their mobility and stay active. It was eye-opening to see how impactful our social programs are for our seniors, their health, longevity, and overall enjoyment. So kudos to Shakira and her volunteers. On December 14th, my family and I participated in our first parade, the Central Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce Holiday Parade. We had a great time throwing candy and celebrating the season. That same evening, I attended the first night of Hanukkah with the Chabad of Royal Palm Beach at Commons Park. And thank you to the full council for being there. We participated in the lighting of the first candle on the menorah, and Councilwoman Radusky, the vice mayor, and I had some fun accompanying the music on the drums. That was quite fun.
It was fun.
On December 15th, I attended the Western Academy Charter School holiday performances with the mayor and Mrs. Hamara, the vice mayor, and Councilwoman Sharps. Both shows, there was a K2, kindergarten through second grade performance, and a 3A performance. Had very strong parent participation, and the students were outstanding. The school is fortunate to have Mrs. Martinez, whose leadership in music continues to elevate these performances. Congratulations to Principal Miller, my favorite principal, and her staff on a wonderful event. And on Tuesday, I attended the community band concert at the Cultural Center and had the pleasure of seeing our very own Mayor Hamara lend his voice to The Bells of Christmas by Robert Longfield. We were joined by Mrs. Hamara, the vice mayor, and the vice mayor. The conductor, Mark Fries, he's great, just leading great music, and I think he could be a stand-up comedian, you know, if the music doesn't work out for him. And the band was just amazing, great music the whole night. I will jump to my AI tip of the month for my fellow council members. I will be short, though. Last month, I discussed the importance of checking AI-generated results. I'd like to expand on that a little bit by addressing hallucinations. Those are instances when an AI system provides confident but incorrect information. This can happen when a large language model tries to generate a helpful response, even when reliable information isn't available. While hallucinations are occurring less frequently, they still happen. One simple way to reduce the risk is to ask AI to show its sources. Many tools now include references automatically, but if they don't, you can ask for them directly. And finally, please make sure to thank a teacher this holiday. All of us are here where we are thanks to the teachers we had growing up. I also wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, and a happy Kwanzaa, and a happy, healthy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Well, the only report I have will be, I guess, a heads up way in the future. Dates were released for graduation. So our graduation at Royal Palm Beach High School will be May the 18th, 2026 at 8 a.m. So a couple people in our audience, I'm sure already know that. So we could put it on our calendars. Hopefully the council will all be able to be there, because I certainly will, with my last little one graduating from Royal Palm. So
Congratulations
thank you, and
to everybody.
that's it. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Councilwoman Sharps.
Yes, attending all those events that we did attend were absolutely fantastic. I got the opportunity to talk to Santa. I don't know if anybody saw it online, but yes, I did sit on his knee and ask him for a car.
Was
I
it
sure
just his
did.
knee?
Just his knee. I was
Okay,
sitting on his
okay.
knee begging for a car, and he did all right. I got to say he did all right in the form of Mr. Johnson out there. Thank you very much. The Winterfest was all that. Oh my God! It seems like every year it gets better and better, and it was just wonderful seeing the people, the residents, and the children had so much fun. Well, it really made me want to be a child again. I did go. The mayor was there as well to the Palm Beach County League of Cities barbecue in Belle Glade. It was very, very well attended. The mayors of Belle Glade, Pahokee, and South Bay were very gracious and welcomed us with open hearts. And let me tell you something, the food, oh my God. The mayor had a fit about the corn, I have a fit about the ribs. It was really, really good. Yes, it was absolutely delicious. December 16th, on this past Tuesday, I attended my SAC meeting at Royal Palm Beach Community High School. I am on the SAC committee, and we voted and approved approximately, I think, 5 projects, I believe, and approximately about $10,000 worth, getting some things done. I was very impressed with the students from Royal Palm that did their presentations. They were on point, they were concise, and they were able to ask any questions that I asked them, and that made me feel like that school is really doing an excellent job. As far as the performance that we went to for Adam's wife's school, the Western Academy Charter School, Mrs. Martinez that directs those kids, I've been knowing her for so many years. From Belgrade, we worked together out in Belgrade, and I really have missed her. It was great to watch her and those children in action. So it's been a really good month so far, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And I don't have to talk about all the events I attended because you all did for me. I appreciate you keeping track of me. Carolyn appreciates that as well. Obviously, she needs help, though, when I get out of the car and don't turn it off. It is indeed a busy time of the year, but it's a good kind of busy. It really is. I mean, all of the wonderful events, and the Winter Festival was fantastic. It was really well done again this year. And of course, the schools. I mean, you know, one of the things I've learned, in addition to how young students coming together during this time of year and doing presentations can lift their spirits. They can lift your spirits as well. Also, if you're looking for a way to bring parents, grandparents, friends, neighbors to anything, make sure you have the kids perform. Because they show up in large numbers and they're as enthusiastic as anything I've ever seen at any NFL game or any place else. It is a fantastic experience. It really is something that lifts your spirits, and this is the time of year for that type of thing. The Western Academy not only did a great performance at Royal Palm Beach High School auditorium, but recognized some of those numbers that they had already trotted out at the Education Advisory Board, where Western Academy Charter School had been showcased about a week ago Monday, as a matter of fact. And we're talking a lot about Principal Miller, who does need to define which Principal Miller we're talking about now. In any case, we all know which one it is, and she has done a great job of continuing a tradition of excellence at that school. That school is just remarkable. It's over 20 years old, and it has achieved the highest standards of any in many areas within the county, and at high levels within top 10 at state level. So it's a remarkable school, and we're blessed to have them here. By the way, it took me a while to figure out what WACS was. WACS, right? And, well, it's the abbreviation for Western Academy Charter School, and they like to refer to themselves as WACS. So we're glad to have WACS a part of our community. Tuesday, I went to the Palm Beach County Legislative Delegation joint meeting with the League of Cities. And I was concerned about being adequately prepared to talk about one of our top, in fact, the top issue that we have with the legislature, and that, of course, is property taxes and homeowners insurance. When I walked in, I found out I had the honor of actually leading the meeting as well as presenting that. So there were 4 of us, board members, who were there, and we spent, actually, we had an hour and a half. And Palm Beach County had an hour and a half in the morning. We had the hour and a half in the afternoon. The county used a portion of it. We used it all. And for me, what that meant was we got into a really, really substantial conversation with at least 5 members of the legislature about property taxes and about homeowners insurance. And while there wasn't a lot of agreement going back and forth, I think we made a couple of important points. We often talk about home rule and the importance of allowing those closest to where a decision is going to impact to make those decisions as much as possible. Home rule, local decisions for local choices, local government, local impacts. there isn't a better example of the need for home rule than in dealing with these property tax reforms that are being proposed right now. When you look at the differences between, and we say this often, between the different municipalities, and I'm sure the same thing is true of the counties, they're remarkably different. I mean, when you go to the northern part of Florida, you really do feel like you're in a different state. And even within our county, if you take a close look at our cities, we are all very, very different. And so the idea of one size fitting all is kind of a cliche, but oh my gosh, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And you'll see it more clearly, at least I have, in this property tax discussion as you look at the differences in our structures that are basically the basis for the taxation, which provides some of the revenue that we actually receive. Some of our communities are mostly residential. Some are a mix of residential and commercial. Some are heavily commercial, and some are heavily tourist. And the way one size fits all, or doesn't, in tax reform is applying one change to all of those very different structures, which gives you very different results, some of which are maybe okay, workable, others are not. And so hopefully we made that point with at least the 5 legislators that were there at that time. And like I said, we certainly had a robust conversation, to say the least, back and forth. In fact, I think, honestly, the most interesting discussion was between the legislators themselves. So it was a healthy environment. It was good to hear it. It better equips us to be able to take this on as the session begins in January 13th, I think. So we all need to be prepared to take that on, to be as educated as we possibly can. There were 2 requests. One request that we've gotten from Florida League of Cities from our conference that we went to, but also the recurring request, and that is to look at our unique experiences. That is to say, if some of these issues play out, for example, as a tax reform, what does that mean to us in real terms? And we just talked about it a little bit. We talked about how important some of our programs are to our seniors, how important our programs are to our community coming together. Those kind of explanations, those kind of characterizations of the impact of some of these reductions that are being proposed, which some are pretty extreme, are a way to convey or inform the decision-making. How's that for a politically correct statement? One of the things also that's a little bit disappointing is that there aren't very many legislators who have local government experience. And even some that do, not sure what happened, but obviously their takeaways from their experience is a bit different from mine. People often say where you stand on an issue is a function of where you sit. And so when you move your seat from here to Tallahassee, things change. I say that only to say we have a big challenge. We really do here. And I think we can take it on. One of the other things that we got from the legislators, which I think is a fair request, if we say we don't want to do something in particular that's being proposed as part of a bill, then recognizing what the point of that bill is and offering some alternative is not an unfair request on their part, to the extent that we can reasonably do that. And so we're going to try to do that. One other thing I wanted to mention, this morning we had a progress report on the countywide transportation master plan. It was actually following a meeting held by the technical committee, which is known as the IPARC, that met with some of the contractors and also or consultants, as they're referred to, and also the Palm Beach County staff to see where we are on certain issues. We're about halfway into this effort so far. Started in June. Actually, I guess 1st of July was the beginning of it. And the end of the contract is officially the end of June of this coming year. Being about halfway into it, a lot of what they're doing right now is collecting information. Part of that information comes through surveys. They had over 1,500, almost 1,600 survey responses. Not bad. It's a lot of good information from a variety of different sources. They also received a lot of documents, and this is really, really the right thing for us to do, from all the municipalities and other stakeholders, so that the consultant can start with a valid baseline on this. This is a big project, it really is. It's also a big undertaking because typically the county and municipalities struggle to find common ground on some issues. Usually those issues have something to do with money, and this is one of those. And so us coming together around the development of this countywide transportation master plan is not only the only way to do something really meaningful in the area of traffic congestion and that type of thing in the county, but it's also an opportunity for us to recognize how valuable it is for us to work together and that we can. So hopefully we'll continue to do that. I'm not going to go into any details, but I wonder if Mr. O'Brien would like to step up and give us some insight from his technical perspective. It turns out we're fortunate to have Bradford O'Brien as the chair of what's known as the IPARC, and I won't even begin to guess at what that stands for, and I won't even put you on the spot and ask you if you know.
Right. And I'll try not to let the chairmanship go to my head.
That's a lot of power, I know. Right?
All right, so what I'd like to do is just kind of maybe go over some of the things that we did at the meeting and the purpose of those activities. It was what I think a very productive workshop, and it was well attended. So as it was explained by the WSP, which is the consultants for this group, is now what they call we're in the envision phase of developing the Transportation Master Plan for Palm Beach County, known as a CTMP. So at the technical workshop, they had set up 10 to 12 tables and divided us up between the tables. And like I'd mentioned before, the workshop was well attended and was made up of individuals with expertise in a wide range of disciplines. The framework of the workshop included 3 breakout sessions or activities. Activity 1 was identify needs. Each group was given a map of Palm Beach County and were tasked with identifying where traffic problems exist and opportunities for improvements. The information gathered from this activity is designed to support growth assumptions, demand patterns, and identify sub-areas and corridors for further analysis by WSP and the CTMP. Activity 2 was a 2-part activity to identify opportunities for land use and transportation connections and identify segments that could be improved upon or possible new roadway segments. We were to consider population growth, density projections, employment demands, employment hubs and transit, and to think about solutions to constrained corridors. The information gathered from this exercise will be used to identify or to define recommended levels of service for roadways and transit needs, and identify policy areas for TOD, supportive zoning, and density considerations. Activity 3, we also provided input on corridor design preferences. This was interesting because we were given a 24 by 36 sheet of paper with a generic roadway cross-section and using some cutouts that included travel and bike lanes, sidewalks, tree planting areas, bus lanes were given to us at each table to create our own customized roadway cross-sections, prioritizing different functions of the roadway. Some groups chose vehicular travel lanes, bus lanes, and bike lanes. The information gathered from this exercise will support the development of smart corridor design, assist with defining performance measures and determining drivers and opportunities of scenarios to test. So after we finished the last activity, each group was able to present their results to the group. It was interesting to see what each table came up with, and I'm looking forward to seeing the information after it has been compiled and presented by WSP. And that is my summary. Mayor, I'll turn the floor back over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Anybody have any comments or questions for Mr. O'Brien while he's here on the technical aspect of what's going on right now? As I said, most of it right now is a collection activity, it is. And meanwhile, back behind the scenes, there's a lot of analysis going on of the data that has been collected already. as they continue down that road. So IPARC is the technical arm made up of representatives of the majority, I'd like to think, of 39 municipalities, as well as, of course, the county and school district. We also have another group called the Issues Forum. We talked about that a few times, which actually is made up of elected officials from each one of the 39 municipalities, the school district. And then there's the my least favorite acronym, MCFEC. Yeah, MCFEC. What it stands for, and I had to write it down, is the Multi-Jurisdictional Issue Coordination Forum Executive Committee. Take a deep breath before you try to say that. I like to refer to it as Executive Oversight Committee, and basically we work with both the technical arm and also with the elected officials, laying out the agenda for meetings and things of that nature. Most importantly, try to keep everybody on board, keep them interested, because at the end of the day, if people don't, and I'm going to use the phrase, buy into this, it's an interesting exercise, but really won't even come close to realizing its full potential of solving traffic problems in this county as it grows. One other thing I will add to it is that I had heard that there was going to be an additional consultant added to the mix, and so I asked about that this morning, and I was told that it's a former executive from Waymo. Do you all know what Waymo is? It's a U.S. tech company that develops fully autonomous self-driving vehicles. So you can imagine the kind of technical input that we'll get, which is unique. The gentleman's name is Larry Burns, and he's highly respected in the field. It's not only the field of autonomous vehicles, but also the use of technology across the board. So I think it's probably a good combination, and they'll be drilling down deep in that area because I think there's a lot of potential for impact on traffic using technology going forward. So thank you for that, and thanks for being involved. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Okay. With that said, let me turn to the village manager and see if he has a report. Well, thank you for that. It's a very positive report. Can you top that, village attorney?
I was going to say the same thing. Keith sends his regards. He's sorry he couldn't be here tonight, but we both want to wish you a very happy holidays and a happy new year, and we'll see you in 2026.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for that. The next agenda item, then, is petitions. Do we have any petitions?
No, Mayor, not at this time.
Any hands raised suggesting that they might have a petition they'd like to share with us?
No, Mayor.
Not seeing any, I will close the floor to petitions, and we'll move to the next agenda item, which is statements from the public. And I do have one card from Mr. David Sager. Would you want to come up here and share your thoughts with us? It has to do with Belvedere Road paving project in Counterpoint Estates.
Microphone? Sorry, is microphone
There's
on?
a button. There's a
There we
button right there.
Okay, how's that? Better? Okay. Well, good evening. As you know, last month they paved the intersections, but not the main road. 2 weeks ago, they paved the main road, but it doesn't match the intersections. There's a 2-inch height difference between the new paving and the paving that was done 3 months ago. So it's very uneven. It doesn't look professional. If I had to give them a grade, it would be a C or a high B or a low B. It's worse by the fire station and by the entrance area. There's 3 lanes going out, and 2 of the lanes don't match, so all 3 lanes don't match. So we'd like to have them come back and even things up, so to speak. And also the residential roads, they haven't been paved in 40 years, according to some of the residents. And they mentioned to me that they would like to see some paving being done, because right now we have potholes, especially on my road, which is Misty Lane. we have potholes, the town comes in, puts a patch on it. 2 months later, the patch is gone and the pothole's still there. So we don't need a Band-Aid, we need a corrective fix. So if you could pass that along to engineering, and if they've got some extra tar left over, we'd like to see some of our roads get paved.
Okay, well, you can consider that. You just passed it along to engineering, and
Okay.
we'll follow up on it. Did you have anything you wanted to add to?
I'm sure the project's not finished. We do, when they go through there, they mill it, and it makes it really rough, and you'll get that differential in the asphalt. When they do the side streets, they typically will finish them. When they come back, they mill it, and then they put 2 layers down. So it will be smooth when it is finished. It'll be smooth and really nice ride and everything.
Okay.
And as far as the roads that are done, if you go to our internet site and go to the engineering department, the roads that, we're doing 40% of the roads that we have, and the roads that we're doing are all on there. So I would check that site and see if the roads that you're talking about need to be done. If they haven't been done in 40 years, my guess is they're part of this project, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay. Yeah, we just want to we just don't want to come in and stripe it and say we're done, and then we're going to have a mess because once they stripe it, that's it. They're not going to come back and do anything, so.
It's going to be smooth and nice when it's done.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that.
Letting us know, we appreciate
Yes,
it. That's
we do.
that's how things get
Well,
done.
like I said,
and-
last month, they did the intersections but didn't do the road, and everybody had questions on that, so, but thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so
That's
much
our
for
attention.
coming.
Appreciate it. Okay. Are there any other comment cards? Any hands raised?
No, Mayor.
One of your students.
Yes. Come on up, identify yourself, your address, even though we know you.
First of all, good evening, council. My name is Mark Vieta. I'm not only just part of Royal Palm Beach High School's Youth Civic program, but I'm also part of their Navy Junior ROTC program. I serve as a senior enlisted advisor. And I apologize for not being able to come to the education board. I would have loved to share my notes then and there. But I do bring some news. First off, my commanding officer and my executive officer, Cadet Lieutenant Commander Cole and Cadet Lieutenant Gamara, both send their regards. A couple of bits of news of how we're doing. Earlier this month, the Area 12 manager, United States Marine Corps retired Lieutenant Colonel Dennis Powers, came by and finished our inspection. So as of now, we've officially passed our annual military inspection with flying colors. We will be at the Green Market now, actually. We are going to start doing car washes and start actively participating beginning in January. So if you'd like to come out and support us, then that'd be amazing. And we will also be participating as some of the staff for the South Florida Fair Kids Mile that's coming up soon. On another note, we have a fundraiser coming up this weekend on Saturday. It'll be at Palm Beach Skate Zone. It'll be in the evening. There's more information attached online if you'd like to look into it a bit more. You can find it on our socials, RPBHS and JROTC. And just a couple personal remarks I have as a student. As of yesterday, I have submitted my paperwork to become an Eagle Scout to the local council, Gulfstream Council, and I'm waiting for correspondence back from them to let me know whether or not I will be able to go through my final Eagle Board review.
Congratulations.
Very good.
That's fantastic. Absolutely. You'll have to let us know how that goes.
I will. Is there any questions for me about Royal Palm Beach High School's Navy Junior ROTC program?
Excuse me, what time for the fundraiser at Skate Zone?
Should be 7 p.m.
Okay, you know what time it ends, or just,
It should end around 10 o'clock.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for bringing us that news. We appreciate it. And good luck with that Eagle Scout thing.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are there any other public comments on non-agenda? I forgot to mention that, right? Non-agenda or consent agenda items. And not seeing any, I will close the floor to public comment at this point, and then we'll move on to the next, which is consent agenda. And you all know that the consent agenda, for those of you all who are part of our civics program, is a way to be able to conduct routine business efficiently. And so by one single motion, we can approve a number of routine matters all at one time, different from the regular agenda, which requires us to walk through each and every agenda item. So we're going to be taking on the consent agenda, and we'll begin by turning to our clerk and ask her to read the consent agenda into the record.
Yes, Mayor, I will. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Just a
Number
second.
one, approval of the minutes of the
Diane,
council. Yes?
Just a second.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I just want to let the students know that during the consent agenda item, you know, when we get ready to approve them, if there's an item that either one of us feels need more enlightenment or information, something of that nature, you'll hear one of us, the mayor will ask if anybody wants anything pulled, and we'll give that number and pull it, and then discuss it from that point before it gets voted on and approve the rest.
And since we've kind of interrupted the flow here just a little bit, no, but let me follow up on that, because it reminded me that if either or both of you all want to stick around after the meeting, we can do a little post-meeting discussion about what took place, answer your questions, and that type of thing, okay? All right, great. Diane?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Number one, approval of the minutes of the council regular meeting of November 20th, 2025. Two, approval and authorization for the village manager to execute the second addendum to the professional services agreement for urban forestry services in order to extend the agreement for the second and final renewal period ending January 1st, 2027. Three, approval for the purchase and installation of a new turf putting green at Commons Park by Forever Lawn using Sourcewell contract number 031622 FVL, solicitation number RFP number 031622. The purchase amount shall not exceed $239,852.45. Four, approval of a special event permit for the Saratoga Pines Homeowners Association to hold a food truck event. The event will take place on Saturday, January 17th, 2026, from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. at 158 Saratoga Boulevard. Five, approval of a special event permit for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Palm Beach County Sheriff's Foundation to hold a kickball event for employees. The event will take place on Saturday, January 17th, 2026, from 6 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the Bob Marcello Baseball Complex. And six, authorization for the village manager to execute a change order with Johnson Davis Incorporated for force main relocation services not to exceed $100,000. All associated costs will be reimbursed by Palm Beach County Water Utilities.
Thank you. Does any member of the council wish to pull any of the items for further discussion from the consent agenda? Not seeing any, I will accept the motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the consent agenda as it has been read.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. It passes unanimously. All right, moving on to our regular agenda item. The first agenda item is a public hearing for the first reading and approval of ordinance number 1068, amending Chapter 5, Animals, of the Village Code of Ordinances at Section 5-1 to add select definitions and to create entirely new Section 5-18, nuisances and habitual nuisances caused by animals, to address nuisances caused by the keeping or feeding of wildlife in the village. And so I will turn to our staff. Mr. Hall, good to see you this evening. And tell us about this ordinance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're bringing forward to you tonight just a revision to our ordinance to try to protect the property and quality of life for all of our residents, to try to, to coexist together. And this in regards to the feeding of any wild or domestic animals. And I just want to let you know that I pridefully stand here and support our village because we're just the right size to really get things done. You know, we listened to the residents, we heard your direction, came through the manager, and we've got a collaborative team that put together what we think is a very fair and a strong ordinance that'll help people with some guidelines to kind of coexist. So your initial response was to go out and educate these people, and we did. We put together some information, and the few but significant areas that we had some concerns with, we contacted those individuals and let them know that we would be working on some guidelines to further take this forward so that we could all live together in a good, fair way. The ordinance itself and some of the changes that are proposed don't just concentrate on birds or any particular. It does go as far as any kind of wild animal feeding that could cause a nuisance or even an unsanitary conditions of, with birds or ducks and the extent of DB being significantly on our sidewalks and in our public parks. You walk up and try to use a facility and the table's covered with DB, it's very difficult to use. So, any questions so far? Oh, yeah. So what we've got is, that would be duck butter. Thank you, Ray, for asking. Anyway.
He was waiting to see who would ask.
As you read through here, it does have, it supports some guidelines, and we are trying to coach people, but it also does have some teeth, and there's some violation criteria that are put together by our attorney, Ms. Bernard, and we think it'll work out well. It is a system that is a tiered type of system, follows our guidelines with code enforcement, encouraging voluntary compliance, and we think it will work out well. And let me just assure you that while some of these concerns, and they certainly are significant where they are relatively few. But when people do and have brought these forward in the past, it really has affected their quality of life and given them concerns for their well-being. And that's what you had directed us to bring this response forward. So with that, I think we have everything laid out in place to move forward. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council?
I have one.
Let's start down the end here.
Clarifying question for the public. The reason why we have to put this together is because we can't move the animals without harming them. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's a directive with the FWC that if they are to remove, that they will be extinguished in a humane way.
And so with the incident in the case that started this conversation, does the homeowner and resident understand that?
Yes, it has been explained to them. I wish I could stand here and tell you that it really changed their determination of their behavior. But it will be outlined now, and if it can't be voluntarily complied with, then we do have a mechanism to coach them further.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank our village manager and staff for being so responsive to a resident in need. I did speak with Ms. Kohler this week. The education worked. The feeding has stopped.
Wonderful.
So great job there. But just wanted to let you know that and say thank you. Great work. Appreciate it.
That's our goal.
Great. Any other comments or questions from the council? Mr. Manager?
See an email from the resident that brought this to our attention, and she thought that what we drafted was excellent.
That sounds like a great combination of outcomes. Not only do we have something in place that will allow us to move forward if we run across a situation like this again definitively, but we also have taken the informal action, which has actually produced the result we were after in the first place. So it really doesn't get much better than that. It comes from the work that the staff did and the responsiveness, I think, of the community. So I do appreciate that. Thank you all very much, all of you, for that. All right, great. No further questions? Okay, then we'll move to the approval. I need a
Mr.
motion.
Mayor, before you do that, if I could read it by title fully
I'm
into the
sorry, I
record, and if
should
you could
know
also
that.
solicit
Yes.
public comment once I do that. You read a bit of it, but I just want to make sure the record is clear. It's ordinance number 1068, an ordinance of the Village Council of the Village of Royal Palm Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 5, Animals at Article 1 in General, Section 5-1 Definitions, to add entirely new section 5-18, general nuisances and habitual nuisances caused by animals, to prohibit the feeding of any animal, domestic or wild, in certain circumstances, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapter 5 animals shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, and authority to codify, providing an effective date and for other purposes. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And before we go to a motion, I do need to turn to the public and see if there are any public comments on this. Do we have any cards?
No, Mayor.
We have no cards. Do we have any hands raised?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone here wish to comment on this particular action or agenda item? Not seeing any. Now I will move to the council and see if there are any final comments. If not, I'll look for a motion and a second to approve.
Motion to approve regular agenda item number 1.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any opposed. Regular agenda item number 1 has been approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Hill. Appreciate that, and the staff for doing a great job on that. Regular agenda item number 2, public hearing for second reading and adoption of ordinance number 1066, an application by the Village of Royal Palm Beach amending Chapter 26 zoning at Section 26-22, which is definitions, to amend the definition of clinic, and to add 2 entirely new definitions for medical office and vehicle sales, new, used, and/or rental, indoor or outdoor. We'll turn to Mr. O'Brien again for the staff presentation.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. I think you summarized it pretty good. There weren't any changes from the first reading. This is the second reading. Village Council did approve this on first reading, and so did the local planning agency. And just in the interest of time, Mayor, I'll turn the floor back over to you. That's the end of my presentation.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me turn to the public and see if there are any comments or questions from the public on this agenda item. Again, it's a second reading, and nothing's been changed since the very first reading on this topic.
No, Mayor.
And no hands raised?
No, Mayor.
And so, do you need to read the
No,
title?
Mr. Mayor, on this one, what
You
you read
already
is
did that.
sufficient for reading the title.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So now I'll turn to the council and ask if there are any comments or questions on the second reading of this agenda item. If not, I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve regular agenda item number 2.
I have a motion, need a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any opposed. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving to regular agenda item number 3, public hearing for second reading and adoption of ordinance number 1060, an application by the Village of Royal Palm Beach amending Chapter 26 zoning at Section 26-40 to add additional modifications that can be processed administratively through minor site plan modifications. Mr. O'Brien.
Great. Thank you again, Mayor. This is a request to add on to our authority to review and approve minor site plan modifications when the proposed changes are consistent with the intent of the original site plan, adhere to the village's code of ordinances, and have no substantial impact on the surrounding area. This is the second reading, and I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So no changes since first reading?
Correct.
I look to the public for any public comment.
No comment.
We have no cards. We have no hands raised. Anyone in the audience care to comment? All right, not seeing any comment. I'll turn to the council, see if you all have any comments or questions. No comments or questions, then I'll look for a motion in a second to approve regular agenda item number 3.
Mr. Mayor, I offer a motion to approve regular agenda item number 3.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any opposed. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to regular agenda item number 4, public hearing for second reading and adoption of ordinance number 1063, an application by the Village of Royal Palm Beach amending Chapter 22 subdivision of land, Chapter 7 bulkheads and waterways, and Chapter 2 administration of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Royal Palm Beach at various sections to comply with recent changes to Section 177.071 Florida statutes governing the plat approval process. once again, Mr. O'Brien.
Great, thank you, Mayor. I don't want to have all the fun. I'm going to let Mitty summarize this one for us.
Thank you, Bradford. So this is second reading. As it was explained, this is getting your ordinance compliant with the mandates of state law. So I'm happy to answer any questions because this is second reading. I think we went over a pretty thorough explanation on first reading, but we're just changing. You have a very prescribed process for both preliminary plating and final plating. The major substantive difference is the state law no longer allows those applications to come to public hearing. So what the ordinance is doing is making that an administrative approval, but otherwise keeping your TSR review process the same. So with that, I'll answer any questions that the council has.
Okay. Are there any public comments? No cards?
No, Mayor.
No hands raised? Anyone in the audience care to comment on regular agenda item number 4? Not seeing any, I'll close public comment and then turn to the council, see if you all have any comments or questions. It's the second reading, no changes since the first reading. Okay, then I'll look for a motion in a second.
Motion to approve regular agenda item R4.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Not seeing any opposed. It passes unanimously. Moving on to the final regular agenda item for the year 2025. I want to make it really historically significant. Public hearing for second reading and adoption of ordinance number 1065, an application by the Village of Royal Palm Beach amending Chapter 26 zoning at Article 3 Administration Procedures to create entirely new Section 26-42 reasonable accommodations in order to codify the village's existing process for processing reasonable accommodation requests in housing, including such requests from certified recovery residences as required by Florida Statute 397-.487 and repealing Resolution number 16-53. I didn't even get a chance to say Mr. O'Brien this time.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your reading of the agenda item summary constitutes reading of the ordinance by title. This is, again, second reading. This is another change that is mandated by state law. The state law that was recently passed requires the village to put an ordinance on the books establishing a reasonable accommodation policy or process for certified recovery residences. As you all know, you had a policy done by resolution that established reasonable accommodation procedures. So this ordinance basically moves that policy from resolution form into your ordinance and then deals with the specific statutory mandate as it relates to certified recovery residences. So keeping your status quo as it relates to your existing practice, but just moving it from resolution to ordinance. So with that, I'll answer any questions that the council has.
Okay, well, let me see if we have any public comment first.
No, Mayor.
Any hands raised?
No, Mayor.
And anybody in the audience care to comment on regular agenda item number 5? Not seeing any, I'll turn to the council. Any comments or questions? Again, second reading, and then I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve regular agenda item number 5.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any opposed. It passes unanimously. All right. Is there any other business to come before the council this evening? If not, I have something I want to share with you all. I had thought about sharing something end of the year, heading into a time that is often the best time of the year. And so what I want to do is share with you something that I saw online on Facebook. And while it isn't necessarily oriented on the holiday season, I think it's a great message. So if you'll bear with me. One day, you'll do something for the last time. The last time you hug your mom without realizing it. The last late night drive with your best friend before life pulls you in different directions. The last meal at your favorite spot before it closes. The last time you laugh until you cry with people you won't see again. You won't know it's the last. It won't feel special in the moment. It'll feel like any other day until it isn't. So be where your feet are. Look people in the eye. Say what you mean. Feel it fully, because the ordinary moments, they're only ordinary until they're gone. So with that, I will adjourn this meeting and wish you all a happy holiday season and especially a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you all in 2026. Have a great evening.
Same to you, Mayor.